You know that.
We bought
Oh,
that.
yes. She's gonna lean on you.
Let's leave on all the way back.
And the CM is gonna lean on you. That's you don't want it.
My whole pops. No, that's a new part. That's the no. When they come out, like, they leave, like, oh,
But some.
yeah. I want to, I want to take them there. I want to. They still not.
That's 6:30 now, so you start the webinar.
I still got one. Yeah, I'm lost in 10 pounds.
That's better song.
I don't know if I went to, I went when I was making already. I really feel.
25 is fine.
That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said.
I don't know. Yeah, they're starting to get, we have, are these folks going to count towards the far end?
But you know we're not running.
I believe we're up to 23.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started in just a moment. We are 2 folks shy of a quorum. Thanks, guys.
Just grabbing off. Only from there. Now, you have
Well,
Hi, everyone. Before the meeting officially starts, I do want to acknowledge Assembly Member. I'm having a brain fart again. Wow. Assembly Member Chang is given a few moments to speak to the board before we begin. Assembly Member, please.
Thank you very much. Wow, finally, face to face with most of the people here after a long summer holiday, isn't it? Well, it's great. I'm an assembly member of Lucky Chang, and I represent this area, Sunset Park. We're doing, in my district, what we're trying to do is, other than what you see on the board, we're trying to do some more quality of life. We're cleaning up 8th Avenue a little bit at Sunset Park. We're trying to address the issue on bikes. So I'm trying to get information and how to proceed the next step. And the next one we're trying to do is I'm gonna rewind is oh, another brain cat. You caught me there. It's a fraud. Every day we're getting fraud. So that's another issue that I want to attack and how to do a work about fraud issues about that, how to prevent that, how to support that, and what the procedures and the process, how to try to correct it, but not stop it, and try to recover the losses that you have. So this would be like second seminar, and I'll be pretty much just bringing it out a little bit more. And this type of fraud is getting a little bit more sophisticated. Other than credit cards, it's strictly identity fraud and banking as well. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Assembly Member. I believe we have a quorum. So I'm going to officially open the meeting. Welcome everyone to the September 2023 CB7 board meeting. Thank you. My name is Julio Ferry III. I'm the chairperson, and I'd like to start with the pledge of allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. And we will start with the roll call.
Good evening, everyone. One moment. Okay, so I'm going to call your name. Those of you who are joining us on Zoom, please, when I call your name, mute yourself, acknowledge your name, and then mute yourself again. Let's start with Ramon Acevedo. Amel Afzal. Thank you. Grisel Amador. Damian Andrade. Thank you. Doris Aston. Joan Body. Thank you. Gladys Bruno. Thank you. Coronet Contras. Jerry Chan. Thank you. Esteban Chavez. Thank you. Richard Kodor. Christina Das. John DeLuca. Thank you. Beatrice DeSapio. Dino Morales Escamilla. Thank you. Cynthia Felix. Thank you. John Pontillas. Here. Thank you. Ken Fung. Cynthia Gonzalez. Here. Thank you. Diana Gonzalez. Thank you. Hector Gonzalez. Thank you. Kenny Guan. Thank you. Nicole Wong. Nicholas Jackson. Thank you. John Johnston. Thank you. Jeremy Kaplan.
Here on Zoom.
Thank you. Beverly Cornigan.
Thank you. Wyko. Thank you. Barbara Lee. Thank you. Christina Lim. Thank you. Angie Lau. Leonette Lopez. Thank you. Paul Mack. Antoinette Martinez. Marilyn Melman. Thank you. Rosie Moda. Thank you. Jamie Nelson.
Present.
Thank you. Julio Pena III.
Present.
Thank you. Karen Rolnick.
Present.
Thank you. Joanna Romero. Patricia Ruiz. Thank you. Damaris Santiago. Thank you. Sam Sierra. Thank you. Good evening, Sam. Ryan Smith. Kalina Storma. Thank you. Victor Swinton. Thank you. Cindy Vandenbosch. Catherine Walsh. Cesar Zuniga.
Thank you. So I'd like to move to adopt the agenda for this evening with 3 corrections. Under item 6, 6A, there will be a treasurer's report. 6B will be a vote on a letter of support for Greenwood Cemetery. And 6C is special presentation from Assembly Member Marcela Metenes. I'd like to entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as so amended. So motion by Joan Body, is there a second? Seconded by Pat Ruiz. If there are no objections, I'd like to adopt the agenda by unanimous consent. Seeing and hearing no objections, the agenda is adopted so amended. I'd like to move to adopting the minutes of the June 21st, 2023 board meeting. Motion to adopt by Pat Ruiz. Sorry, John. Damian beat you. Seconded by Damian. If there are no objections to the minutes as presented, I'd like to adopt via unanimous consent. Seeing or hearing no objections, the minutes have been adopted. I'd like to move to public comment. This is for members of the public who wish to speak on an item on the agenda. Is there a member of the public who wishes to speak on an item on the agenda? Please come up. And implore everyone to please use a microphone so that folks joining us virtually and recording can hear comments.
You just need to press the button that says mute. Press it once quickly and it'll turn green.
Test.
Yep.
Test. My name is George Cardona. I'd like to express my opinion about these land trusts and so forth. Being that they're 501c3s, they don't pay profit. So when people move in to schools, who's gonna pay for those property taxes that it's already done by homeowners? Can't keep hitting the same people over and over and over.
Please keep speaking into the microphone.
You can't keep hitting the same people over and over again. So I remember a famous president said, don't ask what this country can do for you, ask what you can do for this country. People all gotta chip in. So again, with the land trust, they're gonna have expenses. They can't keep hitting I only have 2 properties. They wanna compare me with somebody that has 1,000 properties, unfair. And that negativity has to stop against homeowners. So I would like to know, I want an answer of how they're gonna fund it. Because again, you can't keep going after the same people for money. If people like me are here, there's a reason why a lot of people are here, because people like me that built this town. If people like us left, this place is gonna be a dumpster. And then you're gonna wanna go where I'm at. I'm not gonna want you to go there if this is what you're doing. My opinion, but again, I wanna know how you're gonna fund these land trusts if you're not gonna get property tax.
My property taxes on average just went up 1,200 per building. It's unfair. And then the people that raise the taxes are talking about don't raise the rent. You raise my taxes, I gotta raise for the tenant. It's only fair. Can't be on one side. That's my opinion. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, George. Any other member of the public wishing to speak on an item on the agenda? Seeing none, we will move to our next item. But before we do that, we're joined by Assembly Member Robert Carroll virtually. So we're going to try this out. Assembly Member Carroll, you may unmute yourself.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Julio. And I apologize not for being there in person. I was putting my son to bed. I have a 1-year-old. But I want to be able to just tell you about a few quick things that are coming up in the district. On a Wednesday, October 18th next month, I'll be having a district-wide town hall from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the central branch of the Brooklyn Public Library at Grand Army Plaza. I hope anyone who's interested will have both a town hall about state issues as well as a bunch of city and state agencies like DOT, the MTA, the NYPD, and the DEP will be there to assist folks. Also on October 29th, we will be doing with the Department of Sanitation an organics container distribution, and that will be in the Ditmas Park area of my district, 1203 Albemarle Road. And finally, the governor signed 10 election law reform bills this morning. One of them was a bill that I was the main sponsor of. It was called Golden Day, which now allows for New Yorkers to register to vote at early voting sites on the first day and actually get a ballot and vote. So on the first day of early voting, if you have a son, a daughter, a friend, a spouse, a relative who's not registered to vote, they can go down to the early voting site, register, vote that day. I think it's a great reform. It'll allow more young people and new people to vote. And so that's all that I have right now. Thank you so much for letting me speak. And I know you have a big packed agenda, so I don't want to take up any more time.
Thank you, Assembly Member. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
There you go. We're having some audio issues, but I think we heard you. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you.
Moving on, I'd like to, let me remember which one I put first.
6A.
Thank you. I'd like to briefly bring up our treasurer to give a very brief treasurer's report, which is required by our bylaws every year or 2 years.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So this is the community board's fiscal year 2024 budget. We had a starting budget of $266,436, and they were allocated as follows: in our general fund, 8,241; in our council member funds, $1,000; rental of miscellaneous equipment, 2,999; temporary services, which were interpreters, $800; cleaning services, $3,400; intra-city telephone and other communications, $2,132; data processing, which includes Zoom and MailChimp, $1,743; and unencumbered, we currently have $2,337. On staff, we have $239,784. And that is the treasurer's report for September 2020.
Thank you, Cynthia. Any questions on the treasurer's report? Okay. The next item on the agenda is vote on the letter of support for Greenwood Cemetery. So this summer, we received a request from Greenwood Cemetery to write a letter of support for a grant that they are applying for their new, I believe it's their visitor center, that should be opening up very shortly. This board has voted affirmatively in the past on the visitor center itself specifically. So we had sent an interim letter indicating that while we generally support their application for the grant, that it would need to require an affirmative vote of this board before we can send a final letter. I would like to entertain a motion to affirm the letter of support for Greenwood Cemetery to apply for the grant. So motioned by Pat Ruiz, seconded by Joan Body. Is there any discussion or questions on the motion? The letter of support. Diana Gonzalez? Okay, to repeat Diana's question is, what is the grant for? It is, I don't have to read this real quick. For a New York State environmental zone, potential environmental justice area. And it is for their education and wellness center. And it's a grant from the Robert David Lyon Gardner Foundation. Any other questions? Okay. I would like to try to pass this by unanimous consent. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing or hearing none, the motion to write a letter of support or to affirm the letter of support for Greenwood Cemetery is so passed. Thank you. Moving right along today. I don't believe Assembly Member Martinez is here, so we're going to table that to further later. Moving on to committee reports. I'd like to ask the Public Safety Committee Chair if you'd like to add any comments to the minutes for the report.
Just to add that we had a great session with the FDNY CPR, and I encourage everyone to come to the next one. We are going to offer it again. It showed basic CPR and first aid, and also how to use the defibrillator. It was very useful. FDNY was great, and they provide this free to anyone who would like to have it. It does not have a certification attached to it, but it does teach you some basic skills, and we had a great time here. Jerry? Anything to add? Okay, that was it.
Thank you, Cynthia. I'd like to move now to the Housing Committee, but I do not believe Antoinette is here. The Housing Committee did have, I believe, 1 or 2 meetings this summer, 2? Oh, more, lots of about community land trusts, and I will be passing on the question received today from public comment to the Housing Committee. Wow, you're flying right through. Let's do the, I want to hold on for the second roll call. Let's do the elected officials report. So if there, yeah. We are also joined this evening by the XO of the 72nd Precinct. Welcome. Would you like to say a few words?
Good evening. My name is Sam, the 72 Precinct XO. Unfortunately, my CEO, Captain Souls, she's on leave, so she won't be able to come here, but it's a pleasure. You have to invite me. Just so you know, our command dedicated to help the community, and we really want to, make sure that we have a better communication. And just like last Tuesday, we have the big street fair, and last week we have the Mexican Independence Day parade, and it all went through well, and because of the clear communication and all the works with the community, and everyone had a very fun day. So if you have any problem in the if you're living in 72 compliance, if you have any problem, you can always reach out to us. And definitely the chairperson and the director, they all have contact with the officer and NCO, and they all always reach out to us for any kind of help on our problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the precinct? Normally we only entertain questions from board members, but seeing as you are a former board member, we'll allow it.
Thank you.
Microphone, please.
Do I have to do a microphone back?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely, yes.
When is the next precinct council meeting?
Have the meetings on every Tuesday of the month. So, again,
And is that open to the public?
yes, definitely. So the next one is going to be on October 10th.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. So moving on to our elected officials report, I'd like to invite Myra, I believe I saw her. There we go, Myra. From Congressman Dan Golden's office.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. I hope everyone enjoyed this summer and everyone enjoyed the last quarter of the year. As the warm weather slowly leaves us around the corner, I would like to say happy Hispanic Heritage Month. For all of you that may not know me, my name is Ryan Foley, and I'm on behalf of Congressmember Dan Golden's office. I just want to be brief because there's a lot of issues that the office and the congressman have been working on over the summer. So first of all, Dan Golden, joined Congressmember Bobby Scott and introduced the raise and work, which would allow experience to be raised from $7,025 per hour by 2028. He also held a press conference urging elimination of junk that costs Americans nearly $7,000 billion annually. This would mean that it would end up transaction fees that are often bills that cost Americans a lot of money. Dan fights to keep firearms out of the hands of violent criminals, which legislation would prevent individuals convicted of violent misdemeanor, guns, or after conviction. Which also means that he's for gun violence health crisis as well as to call on the speaker to bring common sense gun violence prevention legislation to the House floor. Despite the mass shootings happening this year, Speaker McCarthy and other sides of Congress have refused to vote on legislation that would prevent gun violence terrorizing our communities. After last year's incident in 36, we would not like this to happen once again. Dan also fights to establish a right to legal consent immigration proceedings. We don't know that we have a large immigration crisis happening right in New York City. So he has joined Senator Gillibrand and Congresswoman Norma Torres in introducing the parents to establish the right to legal representation for individuals facing removal proceedings, and the parents will ensure high quality universal representation. Legal representation, immigrants having legal representation are 10 times more likely to remain with families and in their communities. Finally, Congressman Dan Golden has been Lady Velasquez and other members of Congress in demanding comprehensive flood protection for their by sending a letter to the U.S. Armed Forces of Engineers and expressing their concern that flood risk and sufficiently protects New York and New Jersey against varieties of flooding, such as tidal, river flooding, heavy rainfall, and groundwater emergencies. In addition to that, my colleague Kristen and I have been working on making sure that the waterfront, there's access to the waterfront, and also that more boats and imports are being used through there instead of trucks. Thank you.
Thank you, Any questions for the Congressman's office? So the question is, who is going to pay for the lawyers?
Why don't you use the microphone next to you?
Right, yeah, the microphone, please.
Well, honestly, there's a lot of nonprofits that are already providing these services, and honestly, it's based off a lot of grant. Another grant that are being used for that. Honestly, well, from what I've seen, I was in an immigrant background. A lot of money has gone towards detention centers that are being used properly. So instead of being used for that, it can just go for legal representation and for everyone to have the right to legal counsel, which would mean also for everyone to either apply for asylum or any other sort of protection and get a work permit immediately. I'm on the record, I don't agree with that. Thank you. No problem.
Okay, thank you, Myra. I believe we have one more question.
There's something that I think we back to the horse talking about. I know downtown and everything and stuff that it might have an impact in our neighborhood because there's everyone trying to find a way of but and what do you think back to the office and always the office? What if when congestion parking does happen, all the parking spots that you see is open for residents, so we keep going park. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Myra. Thank you, Terry. Moving on to Zanera from Senator Yuan Chu's office.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Zanera Ahmed. I am the District Director for Senator Yuan Chu. I wanted to stop by and say a quick hello. I hope you had a fun and nice summer. You were able to celebrate the holidays with your family in a safe and enjoyable manner. And that now we are celebrating back to school and we're in the swing of things. Senator Chu celebrated back to school by hosting a back to school book bag and school supply giveaway where she gave hundreds of families with the supplies that they need going into the school year. So that was really nice to see the kids and how fun it was. But now that we're back, it's exciting to be amongst the community. I wanted to let you know that tonight I have these palm cards with me. It has our office information. So if you ever need to find us or our staff or our team, you can reach us by email, phone number, or stopping by our office at 6605 Fort Hamilton Parkway. I also wanted to let you know the Senator is hosting a few events this weekend for the Mid-Autumn Festival. So if you're interested, I have flyers. She's working with community organizations to bring some fun this weekend. So thank you so much for having me. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Any questions for Senator Chu's office? All right. Moving on to Corey Kelly from Senator Andrew Bernard's office.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Tori Kelly. I'm Chief of Staff to State Senator Andrew Bernardus. He hopes you all had a lovely summer. It's great to be back. Also, Heritage Month, having an autumn festival for everybody celebrating. I have a few announcements. I'll keep it brief. I love a well-organized meeting. Next Tuesday, the Senate will be hosting a New York for All Town Hall at PS4. New York for All is a legislation that he has that would prohibit ICE and immigration enforcement from colluding with law enforcement. It's a dinner, we welcome everyone to come and learn about the blog. We also, this Saturday, weather permitting, will be hosting shredding at St. Anne's parking lot, shredding and e-waste, 4th Avenue and 2nd Street. It is on right now. I would recommend if you were planning to bring a TV or a bunch of papers, give us a call on Friday because it might be rained out. Something that I know is really important to the community board is the revisioning process going on with the QE through the city and the state. I'm happy to say that after months of advocacy should not have been this hard, the state are applying for a reflective grant in tandem for the southern portion. That's a study grant, so it's continue their ability to look into, transformational change, which we've all been pushing for many years, well before we represented this area. They are applying by the 28th of this month, so we will have probably next month an update, a better update on what they actually submit. We haven't seen it yet. And lastly, since the last time we were here, our office used to be in Bay Ridge. We have now moved to Carroll Gardens, Carroll Street, Kiwanis, but our number is the same, 718-238-6044. And you can email us at Goodnardis, GOU@nysenate.com. And thank you. It's great to see you all.
Thank you. Any questions for Senator Goodnardis' office? Victor?
What, 82nd and 4th, right?
82nd and 4th, St. Anselm's Church parking lot. It's from 10 to 1. It's also e-based. But again, give us a call on Friday. Yeah, just to make sure no one wants to try to say, really can't talk. So, okay.
Any other questions for the senator's office?
Could you explain more about the bill that he wants to pass?
Sure.
Cooperating advice.
Right now, actually, it's not in New York City. It's a little different, but throughout the state, ICE can work. Law enforcement can work with ICE. This essentially prohibits them from handing people over to immigration enforcement for potentially, being pulled over for a tail light out, something like that. It's definitely a different situation. It's allowing people to, be able to go into schools. In schools right now, they might not be able to. To some degree, there's a public safety element to it by, making the fear taking out. I encourage you to come to the town hall. It's next Tuesday at the PS4.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving on. John Watkins from the District Attorney's Office.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, Diego Gonzalez sends his well wishes. He and his team of over 500 ADAs are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, along with another 500 staff persons that are part of our organization. So the DA's office is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365 days a year operation. And the community really needs to know and understand that. The DA's office is really a full-service, community-based agency. We provide so many services, and I encourage you to go to our website, which is brooklynda.org. Among the things that we do cover, which are always very important, are things such as elder abuse, immigration matters, fraud, especially real estate fraud that's plaguing our community right now, and many other community issues that really are very important for law enforcement agencies, including the DA's office. I encourage you to go to our website. Recently, right at the beginning of the summer, the DA came out with a new report that details the very diligent work that he and his team are doing and have done over the past couple of years. And it's called Report to the People. It's on our website, this whole document, which details everything from gun violence to domestic violence and many other pressing issues that the DA's office is confronted with and manages every day. And so it's quite detailed. You can get it on our website, along with so many other very important features. On the website, there's a drop down for news and press releases. You should also, if you have a chance to do that. Each and every day, there are press, actually most days during the week, there are press announcements that come out. Oftentimes, we hear about terrible incidents that occur in our community. They're on the news for a day or two, and then they're off the news cycle. These things take many, many weeks, many months, and sometimes years to finally come to be adjudicated. And you will find that information on our website on the press release. And it's very important to know how these matters are resolved with the help of the DA's office and our other law enforcement agents. That's all I have for right now, but one last thing in celebration of this month's Hispanic Heritage Month, the DA is hosting a Hispanic Heritage event that will be held on September 28th at the Brick Community Center on Fulton. We encourage everyone to come. Please share this. I have other of these flyers out on the table. It's going to be a very festive event. It starts at 6 o'clock and will go until 9 o'clock, and usually a little bit after that. So please come and celebrate Hispanic Heritage with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions for the DA's office? Barbara Lee?
Thank you so much for being here.
Microphone, please.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for coming down here. I have a question. I've been going to a lot of NCO meetings in my area, and there's a lot of quality of life issues in my area. And NCOs tell us that they won't arrest anybody or anything because the office won't prosecute. So they feel why should they bother arresting anybody? Is there any way I could get some clarity on that?
Well, the short answer to that is not that the DA's office will not prosecute. The DA's office has a process of coordination with the courts and the judges in terms of what these types of misdemeanor types of issues and crimes are being able to be arrested for. And so it's a court process, and the judges, they're the ones that really decide on how these things are going to be handled. So it's not that the DA doesn't and his ADAs do not want to prosecute. It's that under the strictures of the law, it's that they have to apply that in terms of how they're going to prosecute these when they are valid.
It's just disconcerting because some of the people who are committing these crimes, they will laugh and say call cops because they know that the police don't do anything. And I feel.
Well, I do know and understand that with the NYPD, not only in your area, but throughout Brooklyn and the city, after these repeat offenders have been cited on numerous occasions, depending on what the violation is, then that would raise the bar in terms of them actually being prosecuted. For example, last year, Trader Joe's on 4th Street in downtown Brooklyn, a rash of thefts, of shoplifting, that people were just going in and taking things. And so there were NYPD officers from the 84th precinct that were positioned there and in coordination with the security staff when there were repeat offenders that were shoplifting that were being identified, those persons were then arrested. So when things are raised to a certain level that that really requires a very, very aggressive pursuit of them being arrested and prosecuted. That's one of the standards. That's not the only one, but that is one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. Thank you.
Jerry?
Good evening. So the book that you just showed us, I tried to look the website. Is there other language than English?
As far as I really can't answer that, but generally most of our materials that we supplier are in multi languages, and if not, we can probably get a transcript for you.
Yeah. So well, that book that you showed was actually beautiful, but I need to read it in my experience. It's not just English.
Yeah. Yes. We can work with you to get a copy to you.
You directly or
I'll give you my card and I would pass that along to the office that would handle the publication of these items. But generally, many of our publications are in several languages, in Spanish, Mandarin, and Russian, and so forth, Creole. Not all, but many.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Watkins, for joining us.
All right. Thank you.
I know I saw some non-board members with their hands raised. We're only taking questions from board members. I encourage you to grab Mr. Watkins outside. Moving on to Emmett Mendoza from some member of the finance office. Good evening, everyone. Happy to be back at my first community board meeting after the June summer break. My name is Emmett. I'm the chief of staff to state assembly member Marcel Martinez. Happy to be here to report back to you guys. There's a couple of things that we have coming up that we're collaborating with a couple of offices. One of the first things that we have coming up is we're having our town hall for Park from what happened in the New York State Assembly, this legislative session in regards to the issues of housing. I have a couple of copies of the flyers with me. If anyone is interested, it's basically, we're gonna do like a one-on-one on basically civic education of what, like who are the key players in Albany, such as the governor, our senators and assembly members, what the process looks like in regards to the timeline from when we go to Albany in January up to when the budget is due in April and next budget is due in June. As well as there's going to be multiple city agencies, such as DOB, the ECR, the City Commissions of Human Rights is going to be there, as well as DOB and DOF, Department of Finance and the Department of Buildings. We're still confirming to, we're still waiting to confirm a couple more agencies to be there, but this would be also a great opportunity for any tenant or homeowners who may, have a couple of questions. Maybe they need assistance with accessing a couple of programs, but don't know how to access and navigate government. They will be present there for everyone to be able to ask them questions. At the same time, we're also going to have a couple of housing organizations tabling as well, in case if there's anyone interested in maybe plugging into like local organized work in the neighborhood, or if they are just interested in following improvements. Secondly, something not related to Sunset Park or Community Work 7 directly, but will be today was the launch of the free pilot bus program. If you guys are aware, there was $10 million that was allocated to the state budget for 5 bus lanes, one in each borough to start. It's a 6-month pilot program with the possibility of getting a for a full year. Right now, the bus in Brooklyn will be the B60. Some of us maybe might take it, maybe don't take it. But the hope is that they'll be able to study conducted, and then if it's successful, and if there is high use, this pilot program could be extended to the entire city. And that's something that we're going to strongly advocate when we go next fall. Secondly, thirdly, we're gonna also, we're expanding the constitution services hours. So we're doing appointments Monday to Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we're also doing them in rapid on Thursdays, every third Thursday of the month, in case if you guys need assistance will be available. Thursdays under another rapid, and Fridays we're gonna be just doing a lot of admin outreach out in the district. So if you guys ever have any issues or offices like 4907 4th Street, we usually deal with any type of state-related issues that you guys may have in regards to like labor, the commercial stations, etc. And then lastly, the last thing I do want to share with you guys is that, and I'm blanking out with I'm nervous. The last thing I do want to share is we are currently working with the NCA around the Brooklyn Bus Redesign Program. They had a pop-up workshop a couple of months ago here at Sunset Park, and I'm happy to share that they said that that was the most attended workshop that they had in the entire borough. We're pushing them to have more in the neighborhood because we do know that there's a couple of comments and questions, concerns that a lot of people have. One comment that came up is why it's been related to Reddit, but they want to bring back the bus at the next in the middle of Brooklyn and Reddit to the city. There was a bus that used to connect that drove through the I forgot the name of the tunnel, but it drove directly from Reddit to the city. One that has something similar to like that in Brooklyn. If you guys have any questions related to the state agencies, but also any concerns with the communities that are obviously dealing, I'll be around. Also, we have flowers that are alcohol. And lastly, also thank you to all the organizations that collaborated with us for the back to school giveaways. There was Arab American Association in New York, NYU Louvain, as well as the Blue Cross Blue Shield and the SECA, and then there's a couple of other more schools that recommended some parking relations collaborative. But just thank you for helping me going back to school. Any questions for the assembly members' office? Please.
Evan, you said that the free bus, and I heard this on the news, pilot project, right? And if the pilot project works, it will be extended, correct?
Correct, yes.
So you may not know the answer to this question, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. MTA just raised the fare to $2.90 because they're cash strapped. So if this free pilot project works, who's gonna pay the MTA staff, employee, it just doesn't make any sense. I appreciate that it's free, but why raise the fare and then give you a few little buses here and there?
That's a really good
And
question.
the 60, just, no, to finish. If I understand the B60, that really used by as many folks who would use the 63 or the 37 or the 70 and 35. So if you can't answer, I would appreciate maybe MTA giving us an explanation.
I'll be happy to bring the NCA here, but the similar question was asked earlier today at a press conference. So the free pilot program for the bus, we were able to get that through the budget negotiation this year through the state budget. It's $10 million that are coming from tax state corporations, such as any corporations that does businesses in New York. It doesn't matter if you're located or an address is in New York, as long as it's like businesses. And it's in transactions in New York State, there'll be a tax returns that will be class people, or there are people who live and work in New York City won't be taxed. So definitely we understand, the worry about, New York is already bootstrapped right now with a lot of cost of inflation, et cetera. In regards to the pilot program that's supervised at B60, it's based on, it was created, the pilot program itself is being based on the areas of the state right now. And the bus line of B60 runs through Flatbush and Canarsie, which is right now where about the most needed and most economic burden individuals are at. But based on the study that's successful, we will want to make sure there's standard to the entire bus.
They don't raise the fare.
That's what we want to real fight for that. We will fight for that this year. We'll fight for that. It's on.
Still be moved. So I was trying to ask questions if you mentioned that it came from corporate, right? So the money is coming from corporate, if corporate is being taxed, right, to kind of for the MTA, that means either they go raise the price on the insurance and stuff, right? That means insurance, or they go lay off people, it's still coming back to us, right? So yeah, great, it's coming from the corporation stuff, and it's registered in USA, but it still come back to us. Great program, but again, it still will come back to us. And I guess we go pay for people for congestion prices. Okay.
Good question. I'm not sure if that was a question about comment. Okay. But I could just comment back saying at the moment a lot of them are just already facing the burdens of high costs. Like it was, like prices were coming up because of inflation, cost of goods. And we've seen slowly inflation come back down, but we haven't seen the cost of goods come down at all. So we're seeing that these corporations are making massive amount of money. And they haven't been able to balance that. So right now,
I understand. I all my stuff outside New York City because it costs too much. So who doesn't hurt? People in New York City.
no.
I was just gonna add, corporations, we can't just keep taxing everybody, they're leaving. So somebody's gotta pay. I know you don't speak for the MTA, but what I don't understand, they say it's $500 million in fare meeting. But what if they enforce the law before the rest of everybody pay more?
That's a good question. And definitely we'll make note of that. I do want to flag that I think it was yesterday or this weekend that it was like the fourth day that the MT actually saw an increase in historic high ridership with the pandemic. So I think we are slowly seeing the MT get back into the traction of at least being more access and actually pay for, but definitely that's something we can ask. Thank you, Emmett. You want more questions? Appreciate that. Thank you. Moving on to Edward Serna from Councilmember Anastasia office.
Always. Good evening, everyone. Edward Serna, Chief Secretary.
I want to start today by talking about the announcement that Mayor Adams made of 15% budget cuts across the 8 city agencies. The council member issued a statement. She's very concerned about that, those budget cuts means that it's going to impact our community, sanitation, HRA, you name it. It's going to impact the services that our constituents really need. Now, the admin makes arguments around this is a asylum seeker crisis, etc. But the council member's position is that in a city of a budget of $106 billion, this isn't really a funding issue, that it's really a prioritization issue. And so we have had a number of sites open up in the district, the respite centers like the latest one. But time and time again, the CEOs in this community, our office always responds, and we do so with empathy, care. We had Mazia out there providing free melons and tables for these asylum seekers to congregate. And we had a resource fair at Glow over a year ago when that happened. So again, the council member condemns these cuts. She thinks that it's just more of what Mayor Adams likes to do, which is manufacture crises. And so again, she'll be pushing against that. On the Sunset Park Respite Center, just as the admin did when they didn't tell us that it was going to happen, they didn't tell us that they closed it down. So as of this moment, the Respite Center is closed down, and we know from coming to these meetings that folks did have very concerns around renovation that's a long time coming. And we'll be following up with that with the Parks Department because we're told that they're turning over the facility back to the Parks Department. Lastly, insofar as office updates, our office partnered with the Association of Neighborhood Housing Development Land Use, which is AMHC. We did so to help us develop a living document of principles to help guide the council member around land use decision, but also to establish a baseline to developers that want to come to Sunset Park to develop what the expectations of the community are. And so we sent a survey to a bunch of stakeholders, and we had a meeting with a number of community members, and the feedback we got was amazing. Some of the stuff was around deep affordability, senior housing, energy efficient buildings, and investments into the infrastructure of this community, so like sewers, etc. We will be finalizing that report, and I use quotation marks because it is a living document. No one should feel that they can't come to our office and say, hey, this was missing, or have a suggestion on how to improve something. Our door is always open. And again, we just want to set the expectation of what the housing needs are in this community, and we know what that is. Again, affordable housing, and low income housing. 3 quick events. Our office is going to be having a free helmet giveaway on September 30th in the schoolyard of PS24. So if anybody's interested in getting a helmet for your child, for yourself, you can come there and apply. We are also having a Sunset Park job fair at this Saturday, September 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at PS 94. This is in collaboration with Assemblyman Maintenance's office. We're going to have a number of employers, and there will be some interviews conducted on the spot. So I'll have some of those flyers outside. And lastly, for the first time since the pandemic, we're going to have Mexican Independence Day at City Hall. That'll be tomorrow night at 5:30. We're going to have ice cream, churros, great performances, and we're going to honor some people from the community. So the proud Mexican and anyone. So with that, any questions? Thank you. So Any questions for the council member's office? David?
You were talking.
Hit the button that says, there you go.
Regarding the budget cuts, obviously, always against the budget cuts, and obviously the mayor's using this as political statement, etc. Do you know if any of these cuts are happening? Especially, I know it might not have four-year schools, but especially community colleges, since it's like 1/3 of the city.
I'll have to call offline, Dana, because I don't know the answer to that question, but I will get it and I'll follow. But thank you for the question. It's very important. Any other questions? Thank you, Edward. Thank you. Oh, sorry, from the elected officials reports. Venus Gansselberry from CCRB.
Venus, you can unmute yourself now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Venus Scantlebury from the Civilian Complaint Review Board. I'm the Brooklyn Outreach Coordinator. It's really great to meet you guys. I wish I was there in person. I'm currently getting over COVID-19. But I have a couple of brief announcements. Basically, our agency is an independent entity that investigates, mediates, and prosecutes allegations of police misconduct. So if anyone has ever experienced excessive force, abuse of authority, discourteous conduct, or offensive language, you can file complaint. There's 4 ways. You can call our hotline 1-800-341-2272, or you can dial 311. You can file online at nyc.gov/ccrb complaint. You could come visit our office. We're located at 100 Church Street, 10th floor, Manhattan. And lastly, you can file at your local precincts. All precincts are required to accept CCRB complaints. Lastly, we have a youth advisory council. This is a working youth committee made up of young New York ages of 10 to 18 that want to be civically engaged, want to learn more about police and community relations and how to better those relations. The applications open up in November. So once our applications open up, we would love to have youth members from 7 districts to apply. So I'll definitely share the application to you guys. And lastly, I hope everyone had a great summer, and I hope everyone has a good school year and the rest of the year that goes on. Have a great day, and thank you guys.
Thank you, Venus. Moving on to the Borough President's Office, Jessica Callow.
Hello, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm Jessica Hallow. I'm from Borough President Antonio Redo's office. Forgive me, it's my first time here at CB7. So, great. Thank you. I feel so. You guys might recognize my name. She's a typical liaison in the office. But if you don't see her, you'll see me here. So I'm very excited. Okay, so Borough President wants to make sure everybody has summer. I welcome you to the new year. On that note, with me as I get you started. We have the decision assistance center, like every other division's office. So if you need something for us to advocate for, please call us. Our phone is 718-802-3700. We have taken walk-in appointments. Take walk-ins, no appointment necessary, on Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tomorrow, September 21st, we're going to have a sustainable building resource fair. So if you're a property owner considering greening your building, seeking guidance on compliance local law 27, we encourage you to come. The fair will, people at the fair will be able to learn about heat pumps, solar weatherization, HVAC lighting, electrification, and waste management for a building like World Park. There will also be information on financial incentives, including tax incentives and financing to help you do the work. So, this event is held in partnership with Lincoln Wrestler, Other Buildings New York, and NYSDRDA, Brooklyn Action. If you are into ring barrels and ring ball preparedness, if you can make it to Coney Island, we're having we're hosting an event with Department of Environmental Protection on September 28th from 6 to 8, where you'll be able to get things like flood sensors, rain barrels, flood barriers, and sump pumps. On September 27th at Borough Hall, so please come join us. It's always one of our further events. And then finally, for the new community board members, we have 4 workshops. And if you're not a new community board member, we also want. So there's a list of dates for those. So on September 28th, we'll have an affordable housing workshop. On October 30th, we're having a fair housing workshop. On November 16th, we're having a landmark preservation applications workshop. These workshops are virtual and should run for 1 to 1.5 hours.
These workshops are designed to provide members with the knowledge to make the best possible decisions when you're weighing these applications and other information. Other than that, hope you had a wonderful restaurant that you celebrated and hope you have a wonderful.
Thank you. Any questions for the Borough President's office?
All right, so you mentioned the trainings. Now, on the emails that went out, it's sort of like they were mandatory for all board members. Is that, can you clarify whether it's only for new members or for all members? I know also in the new and renewal applications, there was language about how many of the trainings you had attended. So if you can clarify which trainings board members are expected to attend and how frequently based on your calendar.
I can get a definitive answer on the mandatory part. From what I understand, everyone should plan to attend, so every member should attend. And then when you said you mentioned that it's mentioned on the applications, we do look to see how many of those you attend, or how involved you are in the community board, when you're getting reappointed and stuff like that. But in general, from what I understand, my language is not saying it is mandatory. I can find out for you. It's hard.
Question from Dana Gonzalez.
Will videos of the trainings be made available if you can attend the after date?
Excellent question. I will make sure to get an answer.
Thank you. Oh my.
Is anyone considering the cost of this local 97 that people cannot afford? You have nurses, teachers, don't have people, and either they don't do these renovations or they're going to get huge fines. You're punishing people. But my building is 80 years old. If we have to take all the pipes out, all the electric out, it'll cost a fortune. And to what end?
It's a very valid concern. And I don't particularly have information on local law, but if that is a problem, we'll raise it.
Well, I'm sure they're aware of it because they're talking millions of dollars to do these renovations. How are people going to pay for it? Did anybody think of that?
Very valid concern.
Thank you.
I would also add New York City launched NYC Accelerator. I believe the website is nycaccelerator.com, and it addresses folks who how to renovate and upgrade to comply with local law 97. And question from Karen.
It's more, I have already emailed the borough president's office asking, there's one of the meetings that I cannot attend. I asked if I could, get a recording of it or do some other way, and he said no, that I'm expected to attend. Period.
I feel like that's a good answer from another manager. Okay. I will make sure that they follow in the office, making sure that is the way.
Thank you. And lastly, from the mayor's community action unit, Anastasia.
Anastasia, you can unmute yourself. Anastasia.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, hello, Jeremy. How are you, Chair? I'm so sorry.
Announcements for us this evening?
Yes, I don't really have any updates, but it's good to be back, and welcome everyone. Great season to start. Just looking forward to working together, and you have my information in the chat. Please feel free to reach out.
Thank you so much. Any other elected officials I may have missed? Yes. Okay. Moving on, I'd like to the second roll call for this evening.
again. If I heard you during the first roll call, I'm not going to call your name again. I'm only calling the people we did not hear. If you were joining us on Zoom, when I call your name, please unmute yourself, acknowledge your name, and then mute yourself again. Let's start with Ramon Acevedo, Grisel Amador, Doris Gastol, Richard Kodor, Christina Das, Kim Fung, Beatrice DeSapio. Beatrice DeSapio. Do you have to unmute yourself? Kim Fung.
I'm here.
Thank you, baby. Nicole Huang. Angie Lau.
Here.
Thank you. Paul Mack. Antoinette Martinez. Joanna Romero. Thank you. Ryan Smith. Cindy Vanderbosch. Catherine Walsh. Cesar Zuniga.
Thank you. So moving on to the chairperson's report. I'm gonna try to be brief, but I don't think I'm gonna make that. You may have noticed, Cynthia Vandenbosch, our first vice chair, is not here this evening. We are excited to report she had a beautiful baby boy, last week and will be taking maternity leave. And we are, joined by Karen, who is our secretary, and will be the acting second vice chair and our acting first vice chair while Cynthia is out. Over the summer, some board members received notices that they were appointed to committees. If you submitted a committee request and did not get appointed, please reach out to the board. In terms of chairs and committees in general, I haven't quite finalized the committees and chairs, so that will be announced at the October board meeting. But I am very excited for folks who have agreed to step up, and I hope folks who I have not reached out to yet agree as well. Corey Kelly mentioned this, but earlier, I think it was last week, Senator Bernard's office held a meeting regarding the BQE with some of the community folks we had engaged a couple of months ago. BQE is very much on top of our agenda of items to address. We're excited that the city and state are talking to each other and will be applying for the grant. And expect a transportation committee meeting shortly addressing BQE and other concerns. I would very much like to welcome a new board member, Kalima Sorma. Kalina, welcome. Congrats, thank you for joining us. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you want to introduce yourself to the board.
Yeah, my name is Lena Taylor. I've been in this for about 10 years and I'm on the board.
Thank you.
Yep. My name is Lena Sorma. I've been in Brooklyn for about 10 years. I'm a mom, I'm a nurse, community member, and I'm looking forward to learning how to better serve my community.
Thank you. Welcome. And the last thing I wanted to mention, the Finance Committee will be having its annual public hearing on the capital budget and expense for this board in October. I strongly encourage board members to attend. We do need a quorum in order to conduct the public hearing, so stay tuned for the announcement for that committee meeting, and the public hearing. And that is it for my committee report. Any questions?
The forum of the finance committee or of the board?
Thank you, Steph, for that very important question. A quorum is required for the public hearing, and it is 20% of the board members are required to attend for it to count as a public hearing. And I don't know, I think that's 10 board members. I think 10 board members. Any other questions? Okay, and to the district manager's report.
So I have said duty to report last week. We were informed that two former board members passed away, George Bissell and Tom Murphy. We got this information not from their families, so we were not informed of any services. And I'm not even entirely sure when they passed away, whether it was during the summer or more recently. The Sunset Park temporary library, which was housed in this building, is now closed. They will be opening their new location in November. You can applaud that, your staff certainly did. To let you know, there will be bookmobile service at the new library site, which is 5108 4th Avenue, on Tuesdays, October 3rd, 17th, and 31st, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you got books or a hotspot or a laptop from this library and they're now closed and you don't know where to return it, you can return it at the bookmobile on those Tuesdays. Since last we met in June, the Sealy Street one-way project has been completed. You may have noticed that the school across the street, the old precinct, finally appeared, well, not the inside, but it finally appears to be done, and they do seem to have students there. The Sunset Park basketball courts have been rehabilitated. That was paid for by the New Jersey Nets. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm now going to call them.
Brooklyn Nets. We're in Brooklyn.
So, moving on. I attended two DEC Community Air Monitoring Initiative meetings. The state is conducting a study of air quality in certain communities in Brooklyn. They will be holding a public meeting shortly, and they are looking for ways to mitigate emissions in several neighborhoods, including Sunset Park. I spoke about the need for a state DOT to attend these meetings, which they have not been, considering emissions from vehicles on the Gowanus Expressway is the major vector in this community. And I also spoke about the need for zoning laws for last mile facilities, which are also bringing a great deal of trucks and emissions to this community. Last week, I attended the City of Yes for Economic Opportunity meeting, where I spoke about the Department of City Planning's process, the community board's participation in these various public hearings for City of Yes and whether our interests are being acknowledged by the city, and also about the last mile issue, which I thought should have come up under economic opportunity, but they did not put in their plan. This will lead to an upcoming community board meeting. Stay tuned for when they give us the 60-day countdown for us to be able to respond. So we're waiting to hear about that, and then it's very likely we will have a public meeting on that. Parking meter prices are going to increase by as much as $5 or to $5 for the second hour, 12:30. And the lowest is increased to $1.50 an hour. It is the business strips that will go up to $5 for the second hour. All the others go up to $1.50 per hour. Access to the Bush Terminal Piers Park. Hang on. So beginning on Monday, this past Monday, the west portion of 43rd Street, Bush Terminal Piers Park parking lot, and the marginal way bike lane will be closed to pedestrian and vehicle access. These areas are map I have by the chair. They anticipate restricted access for approximately 4 weeks for construction work to be active between 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. During this time, pedestrian cyclists will be rerouted via protected path east and will be able to access the park through the existing pedestrian walkway. I don't believe this project is started, but there is the go-ahead now for the replacement of the bridge at 5th Avenue and 64th Street. We're waiting to hear about a startup date for that, but the city has given the go-ahead. We had a meeting on this 2 or 3 years ago. Mandatory compost pickup starts in all of Brooklyn on October 2nd. If you haven't gotten your brown bin yet, you can go to Sanitation's website or call 311. That's what I did. I haven't got my bin yet. But it is mandatory. You will have to start separating your compostable items. Liquor licenses, since the last meeting in June, there have been 44 applications, both new and renewal. And then finally, the police department statistics have been, the CompStat statistics have been given out.
Thank you. Any questions for the district manager's report? Joan Lottie? One second, Joan. I'm going to get you on my phone.
Composting. Are multi-floor buildings not don't that they don't have to, or is it everybody?
I am told it is mandatory for everyone. I can find out if there are any exemptions to that.
Yes, because there's 69 units.
Board member Bowman, sorry.
I'm the DSNY rep.
Oh.
You can answer the question.
Well,
Let's go with that.
Everyone. My name is Antonio Whitaker. I am the Assistant Director of the Community Affairs Bureau at the Department of Sanitation, and I see that I've already been introduced kind of, and I'm here to answer any of your sanitation-related questions. I do have an update, but I will answer the question that yes, ma'am, that you had mentioned about multi-unit dwelling. So the district manager is correct. Composting will become mandatory for all Brooklyn residents on October 2nd. That will require you to separate your leaf and yard waste as well as your food, compostable waste and food soil paper. If you need a brown bin, as the district manager had mentioned, you can call 311 or you can go on our website, nyc.gov/curbside composting, put in your address, and we'll send you a bin. It will take a couple of weeks, but do it before October 13th so you can get it in the next couple of weeks. Yes, ma'am. I see that follow.
how many of those small brown composting bins do I need for 69 units?
So
That's 69 bins.
right. So for buildings that are 9 units or less, or private, they can apply. Everyone, regardless of size, every building regardless of size, unfortunately can only get one bin because there's only so many that the city applies. So, hold on, I'm gonna get to you, in a second. So, for buildings 9 units and less, they can apply and get a 13-gallon ground bin. For buildings that are 10 units and up, that increases to 21 gallons. Now, for larger buildings like yours, we encourage your property managers and your supers to purchase additional bins. They can use any bin you want to compost your food and to separate your leaf and yard waste. You don't necessarily have to use the bin that the department is providing to folks for free. You can use any bin that can't be any bigger than 55 gallons.
So we have to buy.
Yes. Or if, yes, additional bins.
And why did you not give us an ample amount of time? Today is September 21st. You're telling me that by October 2nd, and our pickup is on Tuesday, and the 2nd is Monday. How is all this gonna work?
So a lot of people.
Educate people.
Okay, so I
It
can.
is not,
Yep.
if you do not put meat in your composting, if people are not aware of what is the procedure, because they're not used to this, that they're not doing it for all these, how is this going to go?
So my division has been out in the community. We've hit every community board, district here in Brooklyn. We've been, doing on-the-ground outreach for the last 2.5 months. Me personally, I've spent the last 3 weeks here in, Sunset Park and Red Hook, literally walking up and down the street, talking to people, literally knocking on folks' doors.
Been in Windsor Terrace?
I'm sorry, say again?
Have you been in Windsor Terrace?
I have not on my team.
Then how-
And they have, yes. Yes, but again, right now, we're only focused on buildings that are 9 units or less. We will be focusing out very shortly on units, buildings that are 10 units and above. And yes, you can put meat in your compostable bin. You can put meat, dairy, bones, even food compostable paper such as pizza boxes. We will compost all of that.
And sorry, Joe, we just have other questions and I want to make sure we get to some other board members. Cynthia Felix?
Thank you. I did receive my new shiny new brown bin. That was stolen, so I'll be asking for another one.
It was stolen?
Yeah, of course. The porch pirates, someone took mine.
Yeah,
For another one. And someone did come to our block and speak of exactly what you're saying. They did outreach, they gave us flyers. They did do that around here. I can't speak for the neighborhood and the community board, but I did want to say that. My question is not composting for families, but for the businesses, particularly on 5th and 8th Avenue. There's a lot of businesses, a lot of trash. And I know that in September, they also had to have that. How is that being enforced? Because I walk and I still see tons of businesses throwing their garbage out in the black bags. And I know that it was probably said the next day that there was a bunch of tickets, but none were given out here. And that mitigates more rats than the house ones. It's the businesses and also the chefs that they have. So I want to know about the enforcement for the businesses.
Okay, so you asked a multi-pronged question, so let me try to work backwards. So with regards to the containerization of trash, I think that's what you were referencing. So the mayor and Commissioner Tisch literally this morning made an announcement that all businesses within the city of New York will be required to containerize their trash. That means that every business will be required to put their trash in a container with a lid that can close and sit flush with the actual bin itself. They need to do that, and they can set up their trash an hour prior to closing in a bin with a lid that closes. for businesses that are violating those rules, right? Please file a 311 complaint. You could always call my office. The number is 646-885. Yeah. 4503. But the first thing we will ask you is, did you file a 311? So make sure you file a 311 complaint before calling. Yeah.
The illegal dumping that happens too. I found 311 complaints. It said closed, sanitation came and couldn't see a thing, and I resent the picture 3 times, same location, and each single time it said the same thing. Happened on 50th and 4th. There was a big mattress that actually blocked the crosswalk, and 3 times in a row they said it closed. I went right back down the block, took a picture, and uploaded it again. So I just want to say that I'm happy to make 311, but it is important that responses are done.
Okay, so what I suggest you do, if you put in a 311 complaint and you don't believe that it's been resolved, there are 2 things that I suggest you do. Call your local elected official, like your Councilor Vilas' office, or the local state senator or Senator Chu's office or the assembly member's office. Speak to one of their constituent reps. Give them your 311 complaint number as well as any pictures that you have. They will call my office and I can speak directly to the deputy chief for the local district. Or you can contact the community board. The community board here has a constituent services rep who will be able to do the same thing, and they can contact us on your behalf.
Okay, I'll pass it.
Thank you. I do want to move on, but I do encourage folks to speak to our rep after our meeting. I'm sure we'd be glad to take questions and concerns to support this community.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Moving on to old business. Does any member of the board have any old business? New business. Does any member of the board have new business? Pat and then Damien.
Thank you. Go first and then I'll go on.
Damien?
So a couple of things I wanted to know is specifically for board members. I know some of you guys are on committees, and I definitely encourage you guys. I know that stuff already happens, but I definitely encourage you guys to please make it to these meetings, because without you guys, our quorum doesn't get met, and it's kind of a little irritating because then we would have to pause the meeting and we wouldn't be able to pass any resolutions, especially in the housing committee. So I want to emphasize that. Another thing I want to emphasize is I said this before in the last meeting before we went into the summer session about an idea of the Brooklyn of CB7 going out in the community to really talk to folks. I'm glad that a lot of public people are here today, but I definitely want to encourage more public people and really get on the floor with canvassing and encouraging people to really come to our meetings. I understand that we post a lot of our information on the website, but not everyone in the community has a phone or social media. So I really emphasize more on the heavy flyering around the community. And that's pretty much all of my.
Thank you, Damien. Pat?
I have 2 things. I have good and I have bad. So I'm going to start with the bad. And the bad is a pet peeve of mine, which has to do with communication. Communication from the board office. I have several times sent emails to the board office. Sometimes they include the chair, sometimes they don't. When I don't get a response, I follow up, no response. The 3rd time, I'll add the chair to try to get a response. I am of the era or age where when a person sends an email and or receives an email, you reply with, got your email. Sorry, I don't have the answer, but I'm going to follow up, or I'm going to have someone else from my office
get back to you with the answer. You never, ever ignore responding any email. I am sorry that I had to do this and I have to say this, but it has happened one too many times. My latest or earliest, I should say my latest, what happened today was really got me was I had mentioned to the board office that a particular individual had not received the invite to this meeting, and apparently they were not on the distribution list. Which kind of gets me because all these people that come to these meetings should be added to the distribution list, the mailing list, whatever we have, snail mail. So that when there is a meeting, they are aware of it. So what I got was that there was an Outlook technical issue. So I sent a reply, including the chair, saying I would recommend that the email for the meeting notice be resent. Better late than never, but whoever didn't get it the first time will get it. My email got ignored. I hope that this does not continue. We have brand new members who I believe would like to have a response, even if I don't know, but a response to an email that says, I got your email, but not from a person like me who's anal, that writes myself a reminder to follow up, need to follow up, didn't get a response. I don't think that's necessary. You know, at times, yes. But there are many, many times when, you know, come on, respect, courtesy, communication is key. And this is why I think a lot of people don't even want to come back. And I've heard people say, oh, I didn't get a return call. I didn't get a response to my email. I believe that things got to change. I don't believe that I'm the only one. Maybe I'm the first one speaking up on it because I'm done. I'm done with it. Now, the good news. In honor of Hispanic History Month, I and this community, the Boricua Pacific Committee, APRI, etc., have been working on trying to get a school named after Dr. Antonia Pantoja. First, we didn't have a school, then we got several schools. I am very, very excited and happy to announce that the building naming ceremony at the new school, PS 958, located at 840 Fifth Avenue, which is on the corner of 35th Street and Fifth Avenue, it's 36th Street and Fifth Avenue, will happen on Tuesday, September 26th from 5 to 7 p.m. We encourage everyone to attend. This is something that I personally am so extremely proud of. To have such an extraordinary woman as Dr. Antonia Pantoja to be named after, and there's more to come. Trying to get the school itself, not just the building. I'm also hoping that we can have the street co-named after her, and that this starts a flurry of other Hispanic people that should be acknowledged for the things that they have done for the city of New York and the Brooklyn and the community of Sunset Park be acknowledged. So I have flyers. There are more flyers on the table. Please come on down. We are going to have some performances, some light snacks, and just a great event that I hope that you will join us at. Thank you.
And to your first point, I'll let you, oh, and a movie. I'll address your concerns with the board office.
I truly do appreciate that. And I do apologize. I didn't want to do it this way, but it's just happened too many times. So I appreciate your response. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Latino Heritage Month. So this is a good
transition. So I'm actually, PS958, the, Parents Association had, some concerns about, they still haven't received the crossing guard. And this is, 3K, pre-K, and first graders at the school. Like you said, it is a new school. This is their second year. So there's more students, they doubled in size. And they are in that intersection of 35th and 5th, where there's actually a gas station, and a lot of traffic, people turning left, right? So that is a concern. I know that there's like, what is it? On Escate, that there's not enough, crossing guards. I was just wondering if there's anything we can do, like as a community board, to support Emily Shapiro, which is the principal, to write, I don't know, a letter to the NYPD or whoever is in charge of like the crossing guard commission or.
That would be a budget issue. The mayor cut all of the crossing guard positions that were not filled.
So there's nothing that you can.
So you'll be your city elected officials, so your, city council people.
And I believe Edward did want to. This is an issue that's been going on for some time. The response we get is enough applicants. So the NYPD's crossing guard person for the 7-2 will be at the job fair this Saturday. So if you know anyone who might want to take it on, it's a part-time position. Please encourage them to go because there'll be somebody there trying to fill.
Okay, thank you. And then there, second concern, which is garbage issue. So there's like a lot of garbage on the corner of 35th and 5th. And we were just wondering what they can do, if they can like request trash barrels or like someone come and pick up the trash. So that was another one of their concerns.
Thank you. Any other new business items?
Hi, John Contil is asking, sorry, I should have asked this to just manager earlier. Is there any plan for the former library space?
None that I'm aware of. It sounds like the NYPD doesn't want to give up the space.
And that's actually a good question. As a good reminder, Voces Ciudadanas circulated a letter to be sent to, I believe, some elected officials, but probably also NYPD, that we strongly, strong terms, would request that the space stay in public good and open as a community center. So this board has been on record multiple times that that's our wish.
Hello, everybody. My name is Natalie Cabrera. I am the Hispanic Community Advocate at Maimonides. It is the first time that Maimonides has a Hispanic advocate, specifically for the Hispanic community. As part of our efforts, my personal and hospitals, we are hosting our very first Hispanic Heritage Celebration. It will be hosted in Sunset Park on 42nd Street, 2nd Avenue. I wanted to invite the public and Community Board 7 to participate at this event. We have over 40 organizations that are invited, that work mainly with the Hispanic community. Hopefully we'll have some officials show up, and the main part of this event is we will have a staff from the hospital, different department. We have several departments who will be coming and tabling to talk to the community and community leaders so that information can be trickled down. So we will have breast cancer, prostate cancer, pediatrics, OBGYN. All the departments will be represented at the event. Hopefully, you can come. It is next Thursday, September 28th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the perfect segue to public comment. Is there any members? Oh, I see a lot of hands. Go on. Any members of the public wish to speak on any item they so wish? You will have 3 minutes. And I'm seeing a lot of hands. So I'm going to start with George, Melissa, and you, sir.
one thing with public safety. We can have the DA, the precinct, the judges, and the New York State Assembly people together. We can talk about the laws. Because I've gone to different meetings and everybody passes the buck, you know. The other thing is with the Department of Sanitation, where do I throw oil? Where do I tell people to do oil? That goes in the compost, or does it go into a recycling bin, or what? What do I do with oil?
I would encourage you to ask the question.
And then, where the businesses can store those containers for garbage? A lot of the businesses don't have places now to store containers. I agree, it should be clean and all that, but people should also pick up on after themselves. I did get a good tip from the Department of Sanitation, because I caught people dumping garbage on Third Avenue. They told me, you don't want to confront them, take pictures, but I'm not a guy that's not afraid to confront. So I took pictures of the people dumping and it stopped. And if people don't know me here, I'm the guy that on 61st and 3rd, when a lady got held up by knife, I got involved. And then on by Capital One Bank, when a lady was almost mugged, I got involved. On 57th and 4th, when a lady was dragged half a block by a chain, I got involved. I'm not a tough guy. If somebody tries to jump me, I'm gonna run. I'm not saying that. We need to speak up. I like what the gentleman said in the front about members showing up and other people. We gotta get involved. We can disagree, and that's healthy. I don't want to be in a group where everybody thinks the same. That's too dangerous. You gotta have people with different opinions. That's how democracy works. And I acknowledge you, Juan and Jeremy, that you see me in the street, you actually say hi to me. Because there are people from the community board and elected officials try to say hi and they just snub. They don't believe in what I believe. But at least you guys may not agree with me, but at least you say hi to me. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, George. Melissa?
I don't put me on the timer. So, welcome back, everybody. For those of you that don't know, I was formerly with Congressmember Lydia Velasquez. I am a resident here in Sunset Park. This is no longer her district, so please do not confuse the two. I am free to speak at will. That being said, I think it's disgusting as a person who started the disability committee here for our community board, that the handbook for persons with disabilities is completely filthy with bird feces. It is such an insult to persons with disabilities to come up that ramp and see that. I was floored and disgusted. That's one. Second thing is that one of the reasons why I'm no longer with the office is because I decided to take a break to give myself a little bit of me time for one full year. I encourage all women in this room and within earshot on this night to please go get your mammogram. Next month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it is one of the eligible cancers on the World Trade list. So if you didn't know, you should know that Brooklyn is also part of that, the fallout. A lot of people do not know that Brooklyn Heights and Dumbo is part of the fallout for the World Trade Center. So if you're in the area, you should apply. I also would like to give thanks to the 72nd Auxiliary for their block cleanup to my block between 50th and 50th, between 5th and 6th. They came out and they painted. We did a huge graffiti removal together with the Lions Club as well. And it was great, and our block has since remained clean. Thank you. And the park here in our community is part of the 9/11 memorial, something that nobody mentioned today. And I think it's really important that we acknowledge and respect that. And so part of what Lydia Velasquez's office did while she was still our member was ensure that Parks Department put a signage. So I'm gonna kind of take that baton and start an official committee for our park around that. And I would also like to ask that our bylaw committee meetings have a public meeting, because there seems to be some changes in the rules. And I wanted to make sure that we all understood how the meetings are supposed to be held and run. And I'm not going to get deep into the business of it. And that's it. Thank you.
Melissa,
After your clock is stopped at 32 seconds.
just please state your name.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel.
Did you get closer to the mic, Daniel?
Also,
Thank you.
there you go. I'm on Fifth Avenue and 17th Street. And I wanted to bring to your attention a situation that me and my neighbors on Fifth Avenue are dealing with. Several months ago, we were approached by someone representing a builder saying that he needed us to sign these access agreement requests because he is gonna have to put some scaffolding and some stuff on the back of our houses and our buildings back on Fifth Avenue because they're demolishing a two-family house on the corner of 18th Street, specifically 247 18th Street. I was a little shocked, disgusted with my neighbors. I'm like, and why does he want to send someone in our basement to take pictures as well? I showed an architect what got requesting. He said you need to get more information from him. I requested more information. We looked at the plans, and it's not for the demolition of the house that he needs to put this stuff on. He's trying to build a factory-sized condo right along our back properties. I don't know how he got permission to do it. It doesn't look like anything is filed. I keep monitoring the Department of Building website. I'm trying to represent the fellow owners here on Fifth Avenue into how we can challenge this. It's a confusing process. There's nothing online that tells you how to do this. But if it comes, my research on this builder was other community boards have fought him in Sheepshead Bay. He finds empty little plots of land. He subdivides them from like parking lots of supermarkets and puts huge condos over there. The architect told me that because that small little narrow driveway he's trying to build in our back of our driveway never had foundation on it, he's gonna have to dig 30 feet deep and install cement pylons and vibrate and damage the foundation of our houses. And he's basically telling us we have no choice, you just have to sign these access agreements. And I just need the help of the board as to how I can challenge this for my neighbors if it comes up, just the way that people in Sheepshead Bay have beat this developer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please email the board. Please email. Any other public comment? Aaron and Jerry.
Hi, everybody. My name is Melissa Haddad Chin. This is my first ever community board funding time, so hello. I am the new company community manager at Target Margin Theater over on 52nd Street. I'm also a resident of Bay Ridge. It's very important to me. My job encompasses all things that we do with community, including our artistic programs, one of which is with Center for Family Life, our Young Artists program over at CB7. We also have a program in progress with Raising Hell. I'm just here to witness, hear what we could do to be more artistically involved in the community. If you have anything to say or any idea, come see me. Also, I hope we'll see you at some shows. It's a great season. Thank you.
Thank you. Jerry, gentleman in the back.
I'll make it short. So, for those who don't know, this Sunday will be our 22-year doing the Canoe Power Fund. So, this year is a little bit different because there's a cruise ship coming in at the same time. So what I'm trying to get the word out there is if you live in that neighborhood, plan to go out, do a little bit early. Like you do or somehow volunteer come out to watch or one day come out to watch it. We are having a concert on the campus right afterwards where Lady A is performing. So for those of us thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Hi, good evening. My name is Gabriel Fernandez, and I'm here for the Fifth Avenue Committee. I wanted to let you know to invite you. The Fifth Avenue Committee is going to be hosting a public meeting on next Tuesday, right here in this room, the Fifth Avenue Committee was awarded a grant from New York State to study brownfield sites in Sunset Park. These are sites that are underutilized or have or perceived to be have some kind of environmental contamination. And Fifth Avenue Committee would like to lead a community-driven planning process where it solicits ideas from the community so that the ideas are generated so that the, for the sites that are in alignment with community uses. You can find out more about this. We've printed flyers for the event, which you can grab on your way out. They're in 4 languages, Spanish, Chinese, English, of course, and Arabic. There will be translators at this event, and we'll also have food and childcare. So we hope you can come. It's all about soliciting ideas from people.
Thank you. And then we have Roxanne Benavides from the Brooklyn Library.
Yes. Hi, I'm Roxana Benavides, Sunset Park Library, the manager at the Sunset Park Library branch. A brief update. We're getting ready for the new Sunset Park Library. And the Sunset Park, as you know, the Sunset Park Library interim location closed on September 1st, but look forward to welcoming you to the Sunset Park Library's new permanent home at 5108 4th Avenue in November. We hope to be able to have exact date by the next, if not before, probably before that, by the next community board meeting. In the meantime, the bookmobile service is available and is being provided it was provided September and October. It was at the 40 right outside the community board building this past Tuesday, and in October it will be by the new Sunset Park Library, October 3rd, 17th, and 31st. They're available from 11 to 4. And it's actually the tech mobile. So there is laptop services available inside the mobile. And we also have the internet at home navigators available for those who want to apply for the discount to get broadband and internet broadband, or possible if they're qualified, they might even get free internet for that. I also wanted to mention that if you visit our website, bklynlibrary.org, you're going to be able to find information about Hispanic Heritage Month's events, as well as any events celebrating back to school. There is information about College Connect. It's an online and in-person application help through College Connect. We also have live online tutoring through our database, BrainFuse. You can find also information about BPL teen internship and other pay opportunities for teenagers. We also, probably you already heard also about Book of Hope exhibit that is happening at the Central Library. This is honoring J.C. Carter's legacy and cultural impact. And as part of this, also the library, in collaboration with Rock Nation, has come up with created a set of 13 limited edition library cards that are being distributed at all Brooklyn Public Library's location. So we look forward to see you at the new Sunset Park Library at 5108 4th Avenue. We really want to thank the community board for being such a great neighbors and partners. And we invite you all to please be there in November. Thank you.
Seeing as there's no other public comment, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn. Seconded by David.